Welcome, guys. So one of the most important topics right now, one of the things that's hot right now is generative AI, right? So if you were to give kind of like that high level view of what generative AI is and some of the benefit it has, David, let's start with you.
You mean it's not how I can go write a poem to my wife to tell her how much I love her?
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's
I know
exactly
that's the fun
it.
use
That's
cases
exactly
people
it.
are playing with, but as we think about generative AI, it's about generating content, and it's a whole new way that we've never had before to be able to do it. And the thought process, now has to turn to how do we use it for business applications? And we're starting to see that happen with use cases being formed and developed, right? As we talk about reporting, analytics, and the rest.
Yeah, no doubt. And beyond just reporting analytics for planning, being able to use generative AI in order to get, maybe more unbiased insights as it pertains to historical data to, figure out and drive more profitability and growth across the business has been a huge, use case for our SAP customers. And there's a ton of interest out there, as you said, Chris, in companies of all industries.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, right? Is everybody talks about this and it's trying to find like what function in the company is like, where does it fit me?
Yeah.
Right? Like I come from the office of the CFO and we're typically laggers when it comes to technology, right? Like we're the last one in the game when it comes to getting tech, right? So we're still trying to find it versus some of our counterparts in the organization like sales and marketing where it's prevalent everywhere, right? And like, I think like finding it to where it's manageable, right? Where you can take the reality and all these big picture things that you're able to see and get it down to a practical use case. So I know you both talked about that.
Yeah.
Care to share an example of a practical use case where you see generative AI provide that significant value to the business?
Yeah, it's about, driving profitable business and also growth. And so for me, where are the revenue streams that are providing the most bang for the buck as far as opportunity per region, per product, maybe even per segment? And instead of analysis by paralysis, you can use generative AI in order to uncover some of those unforeseen influencers of revenue to steer the business forward. Whether that's for FP&A, as you said, Chris, it's already happening many times as it pertains to the HR, sales and operational planning.
Thanks.
But it's no longer just a nirvana state, blue sky. Finance, the office of the CFO, they're super interested in this, and they understand in order to stay ahead of the competition, they're going to have to use generative AI, no doubt about it.
Definitely.
Well, and we've even got one, Chris, right, of how we're helping our controllers, close the books. How can we give them, feedback on what are they seeing and even recommendations on what the commentary needs to be. And how do you take that even further past the controllers to other parts of the business, even in finance, that are asking for it, that are much lower down in the food chain, but they're important that this helps them on their everyday work too. So it is something that we are seeing in finance. I know you said laggards, but I think there are parts of the businesses and parts of organizations that are trying to push ahead and be able to take advantage of some of this new capabilities and technologies that they've never had before.
Yeah, and I love that fact cakes from both of you guys, right? Because it's, I think, one of the goals of generative AI, right? There's a lot of goals in it, but to me, one of the pressing across all the functional areas, right, is get your people out of these low value activities, right? Tom, you talked about it, right?
Sure.
I've lived it. I know all those people going to look at this and say, they're churning and burning through this data, through this mining. That's low value, right?
It's automation and accuracy are key, and that's those are big components of generative AI that provide immediate efficiencies to companies that are, by the way, just shrinking. Like less people do more. That's the motto nowadays. The mantra, so to speak, and we all know the reasons why, right? The economy, the inflation, disruption, supply chain problems. There's unrest, et cetera, et cetera. So it's now more than anything, do more with less, and with generative AI, you can really automate a bunch of non-valued activities, especially as it pertains to the FP&A, and also drive more accuracy. I mean, at the end, not having an accurate forecast, rather, could be the difference between winning and losing in this highly competitive environment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
To your point, it's about working smarter, not harder at the end of the day. That to me is the key point of how you can just go use it.
Sure.
There are, I know the worry out there is, well, hey, my information, my privacy, the rest, but there are ways to start using the models and the rest that exist in a way that doesn't compromise your information. And you can still do it to work smarter and do work in a very seamless and different manner
Totally.
than you've done in the past.
Exactly.
And then what's also interesting is another fact is that one of the 5 key areas for FP&A specifically is a data scientist. That's a role, that's a group, and these people are specific, working with their business partners to fully understand and be able to use some of these highly complex algorithms, generative AI, components in order to derive some of these values and be more prescriptive, accurate, and automated, as I said. So we're not lagging for the type of workforce and folks that can actually help out with the finance team in there. It's actually one of the key ingredients, and I know this through talking to multiple FP&A professionals.
Yeah, and to me, it's like it's that role of being able to complement the office of the CFO, right? Yeah. Like I've grown high growth finance organization and high growth businesses, right? And you talked about it, right? Revenue could be growing triple digits year over year. I never got head count. They never came to me and said, "Hey, Chris, you can go hire 3 more financial analysts, right?"
It's true.
Sales got all the head count, right?
Course.
Sales operations got it, right?
Course, yeah.
But this is a way that we scale. Yep. Right, this is how you scale with the Tom. You mentioned
and get time back as well. Time back. Yep. FP&A finance, the least kept secret in the world. They work hard. They work hard. I mean, hard. And
we're the silent soldiers in the company.
It's true. I mean, they really are, and they don't get a lot of love for it, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's given some time back. So help with work life, keep them motivated, keep them into it, and think about this younger generation. They don't want to just be using VLOOKUPs and Excel, but it's a way to intrigue young professionals to join FP&A and freshen it up, so to speak, right, and make it more modern. So.